Welcome to the Super Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the new Super Gamer Podcast, episode 122. I am on location at the Forks in Winnipeg. It's a beautiful day. I'm at a meetup, a joint meetup with the Winnipeg Digital Art Group and the Winnipeg Game Collective. And it's going swimmingly. The point of this episode, I'm going to have a few interviews and, just let you know a little bit about the Winnipeg gaming and digital art scene. Just met up with Daniel Voth, didn't do an official interview with him. Daniel Voth, though, friend of the show and friend of mine, I'd like to say. He's basically the guy running the Winnipeg Game Collective, one of the people anyway. And he was saying that at this particular meetup, which is the first in-person one they've done in a while, go figure, there are like 75% or more totally new faces, not the veterans he's used to. To me, that sounds like a good thing. Anyway, you don't want to hear me talk. Let's get to the interviews. Without further ado, on with the show.
It's Olivia Wild or Olive, doesn't matter, either one.
Okay. You were the Girls in Gaming coordinator at New Media Manitoba, but actually you've just handed me several cards. Girls in Gaming, Pixel Pals, Queer Coded, and Unreal Educator Accelerator Program. Are you involved in all of these?
I'm mostly just involved in the Queer Coded as well as Pixel Pals and Girls in Gaming. So I guess I can explain Girls in Gaming first, since that's like in my job title.
Sure.
So Girls in Gaming is a initiative by New Media Manitoba, of course, and it's focused on getting female and female identifying students into video game development. So I contact schools, or schools contact us, and they go, oh, we want like a workshop on storytelling, or a workshop on scripting, or a workshop on 3D modeling, and we work together to create like a little curriculum for however many days this particular school wants the workshop to run for, and then I go in and teach it, or I do it virtually. Depends on where the school. I just finished one that was virtual. It was a school out in Elm Creek. So that one was a success. I guess next, Pixel Pals is another initiative that we have. It's our Discord server that we run. It's to get marginalized people, so like people of color, LGBTQ folks. It's to get any kind of marginalized group or person into the world of video game development. It just provides them like a safe space online to share their work and ask for advice, ask for portfolio tips and whatnot. That one is also, I'm a moderator on that server. It's a good time. It's a really good time there. I think it's definitely something that's needed, especially because you think about the world of game development, and especially all the kind of stories that are coming out now with all the big studios about harassment suits, and it's just like, I think we at New Media thought that a safe space for people that want to get into game development is a very much needed thing. So that's why we started that server. Finally, Queer Coded is a camp that I will be running along with another community colleague, I guess, of mine. It'll be for LGBTQ students to come in and learn about game dev and just kind of explore all aspects of it, no matter what they're interested in. So that'll be a workshop that we'll have in partnership with Red River College Polytechnic.
So you say you will be running it. Is this the first time coming up?
I think we've run it once before. I'm not too sure. I'll be honest with y'all. I just started this job like not too long ago. I've just been working there since I guess last October. But my job description has really just come to a head like right now, and I've just kind of, because we're a nonprofit, so like I have to wear a lot of hats. So, and which is part of why I love my job, because I'm doing so much stuff all the time. But I've just kind of like my job description is just kind of like become more specific recently, so I think we've run this one before. I can't quite remember.
You mentioned you'd be running some of the Girls in Gaming workshops. I see on your name tag 3D artist, but you said that sometimes maybe they want like storytelling or something like that. So how do you kind of get into that mind frame if you have to teach storytelling but you're kind of trained as a 3D artist?
Yeah, well, I think about games that I've played. I think like a good example is Gris or Gris. I don't know. I hear people pronounce it either way, but I think the gist of the game is it's a beautiful game. It's about navigating grief, and it does so in such a beautifully illustrated way, and I just think that's a really good example of storytelling, and that like it's all kind of told through like art and music. So like when I go to teach a camp about like storytelling, I'm just like, how do you want to make your reader or your player feel? When I do my storytelling camps, I use Twine, which is it's an open source online storytelling software. I emphasize to my students your player is reading this. How do you want them to feel? Really be descriptive as possible. Write in as many of the senses as you can. Really make your reader feel what you want them to feel. And I kind of give them examples. This game does it through music and visuals, and this is, since Twine is text based, it's you're gonna have to do this through text. So try and make it as descriptive as possible. So I think it's storytelling, trying to get from a 3D artist mindset into a storytelling kind of mindset is just really focusing on how you want to make your player feel. Personally, that's what it is for me.
And I hope you don't mind, I was eavesdropping a bit earlier, and I heard you mention in, I don't know which workshop it was, but you had some young student that just blew you away. Are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I was a mentor for the Art of Games program that was run by Creative Manitoba, and that was an 8-week workshop. It was a lot of fun. I went through a whole 3D modeling pipeline with all my students, and the workshop was originally for students aged, I believe it was 15 to 19. But there was one student that I'd seen her work in the Winnipeg Digital Art Group and Pixel Pals, and I had heard of her before through one of my coworkers knows her because he had worked with her before, and she was only 13, and her work was equivalent to that of my classmates from college, and she was in grade 9. Her work was just so phenomenal, and there was no way I couldn't say no to this student because she was interested in it, and she was she kept asking me when's the application deadline, am I eligible for this, I know I'm younger, and I had to ask everyone at Creative Manitoba. I said, look, this student, her work is amazing. I feel it would be a shame to not have this student in this program. And thankfully they let her in. So, it was just, some of the new talent that I see coming from younger students is just, it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know what these parents are feeding their kids, but they need to keep at it because their work is just amazing.
What's the balance of impressed and happy to intimidated?
Yeah, that's a valid question because sometimes I see their work and I'm just oh my god, I need to step up my game. But it's also these kids have skills and have learned things faster than I ever could have with the resources that I was given, and it's they're not that much younger than me, but it's still I think back to when I was in middle and high school, and it's just there was really nothing focusing on the kind of artistic nature that game dev is, and it's just it was just kind of I wanted to be a game developer, like an artist for games, and luckily my parents and my teachers at school were very well, that's a very interesting job path, and we're here to support you along the way. But I took computer science all through school, and it was just that's about all I had personally. But now I find that more schools, you look at places like Sisler, and they have this extensive 3D modeling, 3D art program, and it's just it's wow, these kids have so many resources at their fingertips, obviously the internet, and then also with their schools having more programs 3D art and other aspects of game development becoming part of their curriculum. It's just I hope they keep at it. They have so many resources that I didn't have it, and other people my age didn't have, and even people older than me didn't have, and it's just I think that's what it's about, is making sure the newer generation of artists have more resources than we do.
And the last thing I'll just ask this meetup here, I imagine you're kind of here in a New Media Manitoba capacity, but I'll ask, both personally and professionally, what do you get out of being here?
Well, personally, I'm definitely not here for work. This is definitely a personal kind of event for me, and I know so many people here, and it's just I'm even seeing one of my instructors from Red River is even here, and I hadn't actually met him face to face before today because of the pandemic, and all of the learning was online. So it's just finally getting to meet some of these people in real life that I've met over the pandemic, and then of course reconnecting with old friends like Daniel Voth and everything. it's such a nice feeling to be here, to like finally see everyone in person again after COVID. And it's almost like it's like a mix of happiness and nostalgia, just like remembering our game dev meetups that we had at the Yellow Dog. And now it's like it's grown so much over the pandemic that now it's like we've outgrown the Yellow Dog and here we are at the Forks, and it's a really good feeling to be here.
Jesse Moravki.
Are you sort of the head of Winnipeg Digital Arts Group?
That's a tough question. I am one of the starting organizers.
Okay.
Me and Will Little started off in 2019. Just tired of seeing people leaving the industry out of Winnipeg and wanted to keep people interested in digital art in the city and in the province. And so we decided to start it up and kind of took over from some other meetup groups that weren't happening anymore, like Secret Handshake and a few others, and kind of replicated that model and tried that for a little while. So that's kind of how we started.
So can I ask, like, how does a collective like this like keep artists in the industry?
Hopefully just by keeping them engaged with each other and introducing them to like one another, and like we have a huge mix of people here. It's a lot of pros, some veterans in the industry of various creative industries. Myself, like I'm animation, VFX, and now I'm going into games. And Will's been a long time 3D artist at a local game company, Complex Games, and so we're trying to keep people interested, and we try to put on like art jams and stuff like that to keep people motivated and hopefully making more art together. And we just wanted to be that bridge. So that's kind of what, I guess, in a nutshell, that's what we're trying to do. So
we're meeting up at the Forks right now, outside, great location, and it's a joint meetup between the Digital Arts Group and the Winnipeg Game Collective. Is that sort of a new partnership, or?
It kind of worked out because all of us meetup groups, we kind of have a shared calendar. We're trying not to overlap, and this one just kind of ended up being on a Game Collective meetup night. I didn't really realize when we made the plans, so we invited them out to split it with us, and thought maybe it'd be a good time to like just bridge those two communities together. And there's a lot of overlap anyways. People in one group or in the other, but we thought it'd be a good place to get artists working or talking to developers and vice versa.
Do you find, obviously yourself, you're getting into game dev, you said, but do you find in the art community, is there a lot of like, I want to make something for games?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of illustrators and stuff too, and a lot of photographers and everything else, but because Red River College, this local college here, they have a digital art program, or multiple. They're at CreCom, they also have DMD, and there's a new game dev program, which I actually taught at for this first year. I'm not currently going back, but maybe in the future. So game dev's kind of really big here because of the school. There's a lot of students that come in and out of those programs. And there's not a whole lot of industry here. So, we want to keep people interested, but there's not a whole lot of incentive. So we hope that by having people here, it can build up more businesses to hire more students or more people. Not necessarily students, but
So one thing I noticed here, and I mean, I'm sure it's inevitable at any kind of meetup, there's a lot of pocket groups. Is there any concern that, these are all people who already know each other and they've just...
There's definitely some overlap, and a lot of people know each other from other events in school and all sorts of things. We've got to maybe push them around a little bit to talk to each other and intermingle, but I have seen a little bit of moving between the groups, which is good. So cool. I'll hopefully get more of that going today.
Right. Anything you've overheard, or, what have you been a part of here?
Oh, just trying to get people into our group. We're trying to, sequester a part off here at the Forks, and I think we got it pretty well sealed down now. So maybe I'll start to really get into conversations. But no, it's just good to see some old friends and meet some new people, and it's kind of where I'm at with things right now. I haven't heard anything big yet.
Can I ask about your own game dev aspirations?
Oh, just trying to get steady job in the industry, and I hope with this next one it's going to work out.
As an animator, or?
I am a technical artist. So I'm working in VFX, and I do a lot of animation fixes and cleanup. I work for a company out of Toronto, actually, but it's all remote right now, which is great. and I'll be getting into building assets for artists to use in game design and stuff like that, procedural tools and whatnot. So it's kind of a bridge job between art and development, but I'm hoping more art.
And then as far as the remote thing, I mean, it's a meetup in person, the first in a while, you know? How's that feel?
Feels good. It was a little overwhelming at the beginning. We didn't know what to expect, and we decided to use Eventbrite just to get numbers at a basic head count. And last count I saw was 40 people, and I'm like, wow, that's back to our first event we had back in 2019. I think that one we did in King's Head, and got pretty packed in that one room, so it was really good, and I'm glad to see this many people out for this one.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Marie Rivera. You can just call me Gab for short.
Hi, my name is Prathamesh and last name is Sony.
How long have you been friends?
We actually are classmates. We've met about a year ago. Yeah.
Cool. What class would this be?
Gamedev. When we started the first last year in August.
Is that at Red River?
Red River.
How are you finding that course?
It's pretty good so far. It could definitely use some modifications, but we're having some fun and we've learned a lot so far from the first 2 terms.
I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but what modifications could it have?
Oh, it's just that there's some things that I still would like to learn, and probably the next couple of students who will take the course would love to learn too, like game design, sound design, or something related to like creating music too, because I heard like several of the students would like to learn how to make their own music for games.
And you're a programmer, you're an artist, is that right? So you went into this course presumably with different aspirations.
That is correct. We built different portfolios. The programmer builds like that, and the artists, we build assets. And we explain the procedures. That's what we do for the portfolios most part.
So do you find, like, does the course cater to both of you, or like do you get, what do each you get out of it?
They have both different streams. So like we are learning Houdini, Unreal Engine, and other like game content creation course. In that software, in that course we will learn about the different pipelines, how we make the asset and how we throw into the engine. So we are focused right now on the Unreal Engine, so that's what artists do.
For me, so we do have like a game studio course that makes the artists and the programmers join together to create games, and that's like one of the best courses they can provide. And for me, like, we get the most experience from that specific course, because we get to work with artists and we get to work with programmers alike, and we get to start and make our own games, like a small indie dev team. And then what I've known is that the artists, because I can't really speak for the artists, I don't know what they have for their course, but I heard it's pretty good. But for the programmers, I could definitely say I learned a lot. We're studying Unreal Engine for our programming course, and we also have like C++ courses, like programming course and math courses, and they're all related to games. So we're learning how to make games on different engines or different languages. We also do have like we created several games using JavaScript, so I guess that's pretty good too. So I definitely learned a lot for the past couple of months.
So are you two working on a game together right now, or?
We're actually doing our co-op for BitSpace development right now.
Oh, cool. I know BitSpace, yeah. They're pretty awesome. You're both there?
Yes.
Cool. How are you finding that?
Oh, it's super awesome.
So far, we have freedom, like whatever the pipeline we wanted to build for the artist, just make the stuff and throw into the Unity. So yeah, we have freedom for that.
How long have Gabrielle, you were telling me before we started here that you've been a part of the game collective, or pardon me, the Pixel Pals and Art Collective Discord, and this is your first like in-person meetup. What about you, Prathamesh?
Yeah, Actually, she introduced me regarding the Pixel Pal. Then I just joined today this group, and I have joined this group from the Jesse. He was the instructor last year, and he was also the kind of to the art jam every week, maybe bi-weekly sometime. So I used to join that. Then how I came to know about this.
So this would be both of your, I mean, I guess because of pandemic, both of your first in-person meetup for this kind of group.
For us, we are working right now with co-op, so we kind of met already, but this meetup is after I came to know it's like after 2 years. Yeah, so yeah, meeting all the artists and programmers right now.
So how are you finding the meetup?
Yeah, it is really quite, it is a little bit hard to accept after the pandemic, but it's okay for me. So I feel like getting normal for so far.
Are you meeting people or?
Yeah, we're definitely meeting people. It's kind of hard for me because it's been a while since I've done like an in-person meetup. Most of the time, I usually join like events for Pixel Pals or Winnipeg Art Collective, and they're all online before. So, like, since I just came here from another country, it's like this is just all new to me, culture shock and everything. But it's really fun, and I like meeting new people.
I'll ask both of you, what's your dream project? It could be a game, it could be something else, but like, what do you really want to do?
I wanted to be a good lighting artist. That would be the dream project.
On any project, whatever it may be, just as long as you're a lighting artist?
Yes, on any project. So I tend to learn every time, okay, what I do for something realistic lightings. So that's my focus.
I'm more of a generalist programmer. I can do like all around stuff. Like if they give me this kind of like job, like a tool or like a mechanic, I will do it. But what I'm more interested is the project management behind, game dev and how to like manage a group of people, stuff like that. One day I want to be a part of a small indie dev team or probably manage one day, and that's like one of my dreams. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Richard Bahari.
You just let me try the prototype of your game, which is a cool battle arena. It certainly reminded me, the sprites anyway reminded me of Chrono Trigger, but the battle, I'm trying to think, I guess it's almost like a beat 'em up, but a pixel style.
Yeah, it's going to be an action RPG at one point. It's not quite there yet, but I love the pixel art style. It just ages so well, and it's so reminiscent of like those Final Fantasy games and Chrono Trigger, and it's just, for me it's the best thing ever. So.
And you've been working on it for a couple of years, you said?
Yeah, a few years. I started out in Game Maker Studio, and I decided to just kind of scrap that project because it was a little bit too large in scope and like it was a little bit bloated. So I restarted it in Unity about 6 months ago. So it's been 6 months of getting all the art assets back in there, just polishing it up to a level that's kind of acceptable for production.
You mentioned that you think the art is there, you think the music's there, it just needs funding and then maybe a programmer to get it over the edge there. Can you kind of explain what you've done so far and then what you think needs to be added to the game?
So in terms of what I've done so far, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done some of the music, some of the beginning art, the design, the programming. I just created the engine to kind of have everything run. In terms of where I want it to go, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. When I first started it out, I didn't have a grand scale, and it was just kind of all hobbyist. And I decided not to go with like an indie studio or anything like that. Decided not to do any of the business or marketing, and I found out that was a huge mistake. So this time around, I came up with a business plan. Just designed this prototype and kind of created some game design documents to take it in the right direction, the right way, without taking any sort of shortcuts. So now I'm just kind of like looking to build up a team and find some people, the right people, to help kind of make this project and bring it to life.
What would you consider the right people?
The right people. Well, I imagine like a team that kind of works together where ideas kind of flow and, there's a positive work environment and just kind of like some synergy with people. In the past, I've worked with contractors and hired people to kind of complete specific tasks. And I found that it was just, the one bottleneck was just myself, because I had to take what the contractors gave and put it into the game myself, which is a little bit draining and it takes a lot of time, and I'm grateful for it because it taught me a lot of skills, and that's why I like to be a jack of all trades. But in terms of actually completing a project within a shorter time frame, it's just not possible.
So is there like a long-term goal? You say you want a team and a synergy and all that. Like, is the goal to kind of create a studio, or is it just sort of, let's get this game out, we'll see from there?
Yeah. So the idea was that I wanted to create this prototype so that I can apply for some funding. And I figured I'd have a better chance of getting some funding if I had a prototype, something to show for it. So after this, if I do get some funding, that's the whole goal, is to build a studio, get some people, and just make some fun games.
Is this the idea of building a studio, is this something you've been thinking about for a long time? Like, do you have a name picked out? Do you know any of that?
No, there's no name yet. There's nothing like that. I have a few things a few ideas of names, but nothing set in stone just yet.
Cool, thank you so much.